is just stay in your home, stay put.
And we just received word that there was a fourth explosion at the World Trade Center. We have no idea what that was, if it was related to the first two explosions, secondary explosions from the first two, or obviously other attacks.
Some sketchy information here that another explosion, a fourth explosion out the World Trade Center has gone off. One doesn't know if that's an ancillary thing because of what already happened, or an additional explosion of some kind outside of that.
Rose, we hate to interrupt you. We've just been told
a fourth explosion.
Of a fourth explosion.
Now in the area of the World Trade Center. Obviously, neither tower is still standing. We don't know the source of this fourth explosion, but we do have Cindy Hsu in the newsroom. Perhaps she can shed a little light.
What's so frightening at this time is that we've heard 3 explosions since both towers collapsed. I stopped another police officer. He was a New York City police officer who was working traffic in this area, to ask him if he'd heard over his radio transmissions whether in fact those were car bombs, as one officer had told me, or whether he'd heard anything else. He said he thought they were just residual collapse sounds and explosions that were just from the original collapse, but we haven't had confirmation on that. The first officer that I did get the information from that was a car bomb looked as though he was an inspector, plain clothes of some sort. He had a radio as well and a cell phone. It was walking right past me down this area, and I walked with him as he was talking on the cell phone. I said, "What was it?" And he said, "Car bomb."
The last explosion was something, because now there's a lot of police activity and sirens and more smoke rising from the ground, new smoke. So there was some kind of additional explosion, but I don't know what it was. Definitely. Smoke was rising from the ground. Maybe it was a federal building or something like that. Okay, sweetie, I'll call you later. Bye. It's now 11 o'clock. Still hear continuing explosions, but
in New York, Alan Dodd-Frank joins us on the phone in Lower Manhattan. Alan?
Aaron, just 2 or 3 minutes ago, there was yet another collapse or explosion. I'm now out of sight. A Good Samaritan has taken me in on Duane Street. But at 11:15, there was another collapse or explosion following the 10:30 collapse of the second tower. And a firefighter who rushed by us estimated that 50 stories went down. The street filled with smoke. It was like a forest fire roaring down a canyon. Now, as I think Patty Sabga and others have told you, all of Manhattan is covered, downtown Manhattan is covered with thick white ash and building material.
And then when we were outside, the second explosion happened, and there were then a series of explosions.